huge is the wildlife. The first thing I noticed, the first year, half of the wildlife disappeared. I'm talking about birds of prey, I'm talking about deer, turkey, pheasants. They disappeared. The crows disappeared. This year, there's no crows. I haven't seen any deer. I've seen a couple turkeys, females, stray. So the animals are gone. And me as a full-time taxidermist for the past 20 years, I have a lot of clients that come up to the house and, you know, Jim, we honest to God never truly knew that these things make this kind of noise. How can you people live like this? Well, we can't just leave our homes. It took us 35 years to build it, and because these people came in and did what they wanted, I'm hearing the same words from these people as I heard over there in our township, and it's just a never ending process. In fact, I'm looking right now, not that it means anything, as to I'm moving. Me and my wife have got to get out. My two daughters have, one abandoned her house, the other one sold her house for quite a bit less than it was worth. These other people just abandoned their house. So I mean, your property values, they'll say there's no proof. Well, let me tell you something. You come to my house and you pull up to my driveway and you see reflections of the wind turbines in the windows. You got flickers hitting your house, you got a noise. They'll compare it to the wind blowing through the trees and the leaves. I have never heard such nonsense in my whole life. These wind turbines do not sound like anything natural. This noise is harsh. It will drive people out of their homes. If they tell you, well, you know what, we'll just come up there and we'll deal with the people in their house, we'll give them a noise machine. It won't work. They told me how to set it up in my house. Mark did from CH2ML. And keep it about 25 to 30 feet away from your bedroom. Turn it on full. Mark has been in my house, I want to say 6 times. He's been on my property more than that. For the past 2 years, they've been conducting more noise studies than you can possibly ever imagine. That the last one was this thick. And we got neighbors, some of them are 200, let's say 1,250, some of them are 1,400, some of them are 1,600, and yet we're all coming up with this same decibel reading, 47, 48 dB, which to me I just find it hard. They're all complaining about the same thing. Noise coming into the house. It affects kids. It affects me. I can personally tell you the biggest hurt on me is the stress, the noise. It can change a person. It can change a person as to the way you, me, and my neighbor have one on your land. It can change everything. It'll put a split in your community, if it means anything to the community. It's going to come down to is you're going to have to really take a huge amount of time, and you can't trust anything that the wind company says. I'm talking from my personal experiences as to what they tell you about the noise. It is a huge, serious problem. Unless you want to do a 3-year moratorium and see how our case turns out, because we have got a serious problem. They're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on noise reduction, and it's not working. They say this is gonna cut the noise down. Well, not in my house and not in my neighbor's houses. It has done absolutely nothing. The noise machine, it sounds like a hairdryer. You know, so I mean, if you want to go to bed with a hairdryer going in your room, that's basically is what this is. And I couldn't get used to it. My wife couldn't get used to it. But you'll see that you'll start getting complaints, especially if you have people in that area. And you watch, sure enough, the complaints will all be the same. The noise is in my house, I get headaches, it's making me dizzy. It will make you nauseous too, the noise will make you nauseous. So there's just a huge amount of things when you're talking about the noise. I hope that would help you as I'm telling you the truth. I have nothing to hide. I'm a very faithful man, not that that would make me lie, but I don't lie, especially talking to you gentlemen about the noise problem. And I'm glad they said this is the problem, the noise problem, because I actually had a couple other problems, but I'm not even going to get into them. Your noise is going to be your biggest thing. If you have a lot of, I don't know where this area is, but if you have a lot of hunters in this area, you're going to see they're going to leave. And it won't take long for that word to get around. Another thing I'd like to just bring up is he said this 24/7 365. On days, you'll get days where they don't turn. They make no noise. You'll get days where they're turning so slow that they don't make no noise. That makes no difference to me because 3/4 of the year I'm hearing that noise. So for you to take it away for 2 days because there's no wind and then start them back up again, the wind starts blowing, that puts a huge stress on me and a lot of other people as to we know what's coming. We know when these things start turning, we know what's coming. And you know, it would be good. We're in Herkimer County. Our supervisor, Hank Crowfoot, I called him up about a month ago to come to my house. The noise was extremely bad. He came to my house, he listened, he emailed the wind company and told them the noise around Mr. Salomon's house is terrible. Now it goes for my neighbors too, and we're not close neighbors, we're spread out. And he also said that another thing that they might not talk about is when you put so many of them in an area, they'll tell you that that noise will all combine and it only sounds like just one flat rate. That's total nonsense. You can have a turbine here and a turbine here and a turbine here, and you will hear each one of them turbines separate. Each one of them will drive you crazy. The noise is so loud. So it's not that you're gonna hear 50 dB of noise or 45 dB. You're gonna hear 45 from this one, you might hear 50 from that one, 48 from this one at different times. We've got 38 of them. I've heard them actually at, I want to say 2¼ miles away, because doing all this testing, they've shut some off, you know, and they do this and do that, you know, to try to get a good feeling for ambient levels. The ones that are over 2 miles away, I wish that you could come to my house and hear them, what they sound like. It's just totally unbelievable. And the worst part about it is as a citizen, as just a normal person, you can't do nothing about it. We cannot do nothing. We're stuck. We're caught in a trap. We can't get our legs out. And the wind company just keeps playing games with our town board because it's all under contract. So our town board really can't say anything because if they do, the contract could come up and they can stop payments. There's just so many little things that you're probably not even aware of. So I don't know what they tell you as far as if you want to hire, when you put these up, if you want to hire a special consultant to come in, you got to clear it with them. We just went through this with an acoustic engineer. I mean, everything has got to go through them. They're the ones that set it all up. It runs the way they want it to run. And once they put them up, just like with Mark, we're gonna fix this problem. Once they're up and they're going, goodbye, and you're stuck. So it's not just a point of it's money's good for the county. If you have people living in this area, you should take their life into consideration if you want to destroy their life. I don't know how many hunters, but these are 2 strong points. People are worth something. It's not all about money, it's about truth. And so I would say that please take your time, think about it. If you don't, I'm not going to tell you what to do by no means, but maybe a long moratorium is in place here, just from listening. If you want to know everything, then let the wind company prove you everything. Use your people. That's what we've done, and we get blacked. We were actually gagged. We couldn't talk because we were asking questions they didn't want to answer, and they gagged us. And they told me right out, if you open your mouth about the wind turbines in this public meeting, we will have you arrested. So I had to be orderly. I had to sit there and listen. That went on for 1.5 years. Now in the meantime, the wind company's talking with the board. The board is okay to, or the planning board is okay to vote on recommendations. They're voting on recommendations. These guys got contracts with the wind company to bring the turbines into their land, onto their land, and we're gagged. We can't say nothing. So it was I don't know how you work it here. Back home, our board pays an attorney through an escrow account. It was that attorney that said gag him. He's being paid by the wind company through the escrow. They don't want you to know about the noise. So,
if I may interject, Mr. Chairman, we also brought a short 12-second video clip from Mr. Salmon's house of the light flicker that he is describing, and if he could
yeah, you know what? I would have to find it, and
Jimmy, if you could please show it. If
I would have to find it. Well, I would have to find it. I don't want to.
Throughout his testimony, He's done a
Yeah,
pretty good
if I
job
was,
justifying that.
right, and that's not that I could pick it out,
Well, the issue that.
but I have everything right here. Now, I don't know how
We
you
have no
got it
reason,
all.
we have no reason to doubt anything you say because you've come a long way.
Yes, I have, and
We
I brought,
appreciate that very
I brought everything with me on my note too. Everything, as far as even the noise, as
One
they
of the-
say they don't make, no. You want to hear what 40 decibels of noise sounds like?
Well, one of the things you did say, one of the charges that we hear is that it's remote and it doesn't affect anything. But the thing, you are a hunter, and there's only 44,000 people in the whole county. And we looked at how many people have applied for special permits to hunt in this area for pronghorn, deer, and elk, and it's over 6,000 people have tried to hunt up there. And your testimony that those animals will clear out is important to me.
Oh, that's going to be a big thing. That will be a big, it'll take 2 years for them to clear out. The first year you'll notice that. Second year, say goodbye. And it won't take, well, I'll tell you what, the hunters won't want to hunt there the first year. I watched the hunters go up on my hills, and the noises, like I say, 50 decibels, they make it sound like very, very little bit. It's not, it's huge.
Well, we need to move along. We appreciate
Okay,
that.
well, thank you very much for hearing it.
Yeah, Gary?
Thank you, sir. How on earth can they take the man's freedom of speech away from you?
This was many years before I
Well,
became
I could
involved.
tell you.
Before the Constitution?
I can answer you that. We went to the Attorney General, and we asked him that very question. How can they take our speech away from us like this? They can do it. What they have is what they call home rule. Home rule says they can do it. That's the bottom line.
I have another question. If you're successful in your lawsuit, what are we going to do, tear them all down, or just abandon them?
We'd like to provide people at a minimum the funds to be able to relocate if they'd like to. There's a lot of people that feel
relocate.
absolutely trapped. They have children in school that are experiencing these constant earaches, etc. And they can't. This is a very poor rural community. Can't afford to leave.
So the turbines would continue, you get a price for your house, pack up and go start over somewhere.
Yeah, well, I've already had it for sale. So you can't find a buyer. They want to offer you $40,000, $50,000 less than what you're offering. Sometimes they won't even go to the assessment, $20,000 below assessment. Most of the time when you hear the noise and they just look at the sheer size of them, and you could be a mile away, they'll say, no thanks, we're not interested.
I would hope that Mr. Stith would take you out to a place called Three Patches, which is within yards of where one of those turbines would be. I was out there and found the GPS surveying equipment a year ago. So I have a very good idea how close you would be to Three Patches, which is a recreation area.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
One other thing that might be very relevant is that we do have several other plaintiffs that have sportsman clubs that they've abandoned. We have also a few landowners from New York City and other areas that had bought land up there for hunting purposes and can no longer go up there and no longer use the land.
What size turbine